Hello everyone. I wanted to show everyone how I did these particular inchies. Now, like I said before, I did these when I really didn't know what I was doing. So I did them the most difficult way that you could possibly make inchies, and that is by cutting a square and then trying to decorate each square. The reason it's so difficult is it's a 1-inch little square and you're trying to deal with a little tiny surface. Your fingers are getting in the way. It's hard to glue the little bits. It's difficult. You can use tweezers, but it is difficult. So what I had done with this one is I had little bits, and I've got lots of little bits that I keep in tins. Here's some words and some little bits of whatever. And I would take maybe a little bit of text or something. Let's see, what do I have here? It's been such a long time since I've done this. And then I would glue that little bit onto the Inchie, and then I would try to add another, oh, here's a good one. Then I would try to glue a word or a little picture on top of that. It is tedious, I have to say. It is. It took me a long time to make these inchies because I would get kind of fed up. Like, I am done with this. This isn't any fun. And I would stop for a month or so, and then I would see them again and think, oh, those are really cool. I need to do them. It's really difficult to do it that way. So I would not suggest even starting to do it this way. I would gather little bits, little words, little images, little bits of numbers and text and interesting tiny little bits, because if you want to build your inchies inch by inch, I would suggest doing something like this. A single sheet of paper. I have marked out the inches, so I have my inchies all marked out. And I put some color. I was doing some stuff with some ink pads. So I was messing around and I just added some light color here and there just to give the background some interest. These are some inchies that I doodled, but you can just add little bits to each inchie. And the difference between this is you're still working with tiny little things, but you have a large piece of paper to deal with, and you're not trying to juggle a tiny little square and trying to glue something on top of it. And yeah, it was a little fun. So you're actually building the squares. That's too big. You're actually building the squares all together. Let's see, do I have some more little things? Put a little bird on that. I have some stamped images. Some little words. And you can just keep putting things on until you've got your little inchies made. Here's some paper punches. So here's a little hand. Here's a spiral. These are some punches that I didn't end up using. so I wanted to keep them. Here's a little cat, little firefly. There's a bunch of different little things inside there. Use stickers. Here's some sequins. Here's a little lion sequin. Shell. The stamped images and doodling and adding a little bit of pattern with stencils or whatever. You can build your Inchies one by one and still not go crazy, basically. I like to add a little bit of text to mine. Here's some text. Like that. Some numbers. It just, you know, the little tiny bits of postage stamp maybe. With a star or whatever. It is much easier to create an Inchie when you're not trying to handle a little tiny square and you can actually see what's going on and your fingers aren't getting in the way of the glue, and it's much better. It's easier. And so if you wanted to create Inchies just as Inchies, I would suggest something just like this. You make a background of whatever you want, and sometimes I do, you know, large backgrounds with some text, so a little bit of stamping, and then I will put white paint over just to knock back all that contrast, and maybe a little bit of watercolor. Here's another one where I've added, I just put some watercolor down on the page in different places, added some little watercolor doodles with, you know, watercolor pencils I think I used there, but any kind of pencils, adding some pattern and stuff. And then I would cut that up into, or I would actually mark the squares first, create the Inchies, and then when I'm done, cut all the Inchies apart. And then you have the Inchies to put together any way that you would like to put them together. And that's they would be all unique. You could Zendoodle on each one. There's a lot of Zendoodle posts on Google. If you wanted the simple Zendoodles in squares, it would be a whole lot of fun. Sit in front of the TV, you know, Zendoodling each little square with something different, maybe even different colors of pen and whatever. So it's really easy to create your own unique Inchies, and you can tell that they would be, it depends on what kind of colors you use. You could use copy dyed paper and make it vintage looking by adding text and old pictures and such. It's limitless what you can use for Inchies. So I hope that gives you some ideas, things that you can do to make your own very own Inchies. It gets to be a little addictive when you get going. We start putting them together and seeing what they look like. It is a whole lot of fun. So I hope this is helpful, and good luck in your Inchie making. Thanks for watching.